Remember when I said I'm a bug girl? Welcome back! Since I last talked to you, we actually got a teaser trailer for Evil Dead Burn. If you know me, you know my obsession with the Evil Dead universe. The biggest disappointment ever was the cancellation of Ash versus the Evil Dead. I loved that show so much, but anyways, I did a reaction video to the teaser and it already looks so scary, guys. I need to be seated in a full theater for that one. I feel like the audience reactions are going to be absolutely off the wall. Are you guys excited for that one? You have to be, especially if you've seen Infested from 2023, the spider apartment film directed by Sebastian Vanacek. He's taking on this Evil Dead installment, and I think we'll be eating good, guys. Anyways, today we are talking about our first Daddy Cronenberg movie on the podcast. We are huge Cronenberg fans. David, Brandon, even Caitlin, phenomenal filmmakers. When Alex and I first met, actually, one of the first movies we watched together was Videodrome. And right from then, we were like, okay, we are Cronenberg people. Let's dive into the filmography. So today's movie is actually an Alex pick. We are talking about Naked Lunch. This is a wild ride full of huffing drugs and killing bugs. So let's get into it. Naked Lunch from 1991, directed by David Cronenberg, coming in at just under 2 hours. After developing an addiction to the substance he uses to kill bugs, an exterminator accidentally kills his wife and becomes involved in a secret government plot being orchestrated by giant bugs in a port town in North Africa. And yes, somehow it's even weirder than it sounds. So pause this right now if you haven't seen this movie. Check it out, proceed with caution, and come back to hear the real life story that inspired this film. Before I dive in any further, I think this is a great time to remind you, if you haven't already, to please leave this podcast a 5-star rating, a thumbs up, a comment somewhere. Let me know your favorite Cronenberg movie down below. Let's dive in, because I don't necessarily know where to begin with this one, so I guess we'll start with the source material, William S. Burroughs. Now, this is a crazy story. So, William S. Burroughs killed his wife. Yes, in real life. The shooting of his wife is not a fictional incident. He shot his wife Joan in the head in 1951 in Mexico in a William Tell stunt that went disastrous. And Mexican law at the time meant that Burroughs only served 13 days in prison for killing his wife. And before I get too far, a William Tell stunt is a high-risk archery or like crossbow firearm demonstration where a marksman attempts to shoot an object, traditionally an apple, off of a person's head. This is based on the Swiss legend of William Tell. It's usually used to showcase extreme precision, but it's really dangerous, and sometimes it leads to injuries when performed at a circus or by a daredevil. If you're watching this season of Euphoria, we actually see this with Rue and Alamo in the first episode. I think it was more used as a can I trust you ritual, but I digress. Cronenberg uses that event as a key turning point in the film, but it really does blend biography with fiction, and Burroughs later said that the event was the catalyst for him actually becoming a writer, which gives the film's themes of guilt, creation, and even addiction a much darker layer. So, Naked Lunch is kind of what happens when David Cronenberg looks at the already unhinged writings of William S. Burroughs and says, what if we made this weirder? The movie is less of a straightforward adaptation and more of a fever dream, kind of stitched together from Burroughs' life, his addiction, the paranoia, and the book itself. Peter Weller plays Bill Lee, an exterminator turned accidental junkie who discovers that bug powder doubles as a hallucinogen. Now, naturally, this leads him to a bizarre espionage world called the Interzone, where typewriters talk, giant insects become authority figures, and reality completely is out the window. The whole plot, if we're being completely honest, is kind of secondary to the vibe of the movie, okay? This is a strange one. Now, Bill is told he's a secret agent and must write reports on said typewriter, which turns his addiction and creative process into this kind of metaphor for authorship and things that you write. If you're owning the things that you write, he kind of drifts through the interzone. He meets characters, doppelgangers of people he knows, increasingly strange biological machinery, but we know he's hallucinating. Every scene feels like you've walked into someone else's nightmare halfway through and nobody wants to explain. It's body horror, noir, satire, drug delirium, all put into one package. And what makes it work is that Cronenberg is not trying to fix the madness. He embraces it, as he always does. The creature effects are incredible. I will talk more about that. The production design is grimy and dreamlike. I will say it is set in the 50s, and Peter Weller gives the perfect deadpan performance. Like, all of this is just mildly inconvenient to him. There's something darkly funny about how casually everyone accepts the talking typewriters and the insect politics, but it's disgusting and intelligent and oddly elegant all at once. It's kind of like a movie you don't understand in the traditional sense. It's a movie you just want to get to the end of. Especially if you are, like I said, a Cronenberg completionist like I am. The 2-hour runtime for this, it just, after a while, it does feel like kind of a chore. But if you like your cinema strange, if you like it a little literary, if you like it definitely covered in slime, it's essential viewing. And if you like clear answers and normal behavior, this is not one for you. This is a must watch, though, like I said, if you are a Cronenberg completionist for the effects alone. This was peak Cronenberg creature feature era, with grotesque insectoid puppets, organic typewriters, fleshy machines, all created really before CGI totally took over. The mugwumps, the typewriters, they're all memorable because everything feels tactile and disgusting in the best possible way. And before I get any further, speaking of mugwumps, the word mugwump actually translates to tribal leader. Now, the original novel for Naked Lunch was considered nearly unfilmable. It really does not follow a traditional plot. It is fragmented, it's surreal, obscene, it really jumps all over the place. So instead of trying to force a literal adaptation, Cronenberg decided to combine material from the book with Burroughs' other writings like Exterminator and Junkie, plus Burroughs' real life. Smart move, because I think a page-for-page version would have been even more chaotic, even by Cronenberg standards. This really is not trying to tell a clean story. It's trying to put you inside the mind of addiction, repression, guilt, artistic obsession. It's less watching a movie and more entering contaminated literature, if you will. And speaking of, David Cronenberg, he has a novel. We have it. Alex read it. It is very body horror. It's a Cronenbergian nightmare. It's called Consumed. So definitely check that out if you can, especially once again, if you are a Cronenberg completionist. And that's Naked Lunch, I guess. It's sticky, it's sleazy, it's chaotic in the best way possible. A movie where addiction, repression, and writer's block turns into body horror and giant talking bugs. It all gets thrown into a blender, and somehow it became an iconic 90s classic. Only David Cronenberg could make something this grotesque feel that classy. It's not a film that wants to hold your hand, and it wants to confuse you, disgust you, and fascinate you all at once, and possibly leave you staring at the wall after wondering what the fuck you just watched. That's real cinema, baby. Whether you think it's a masterpiece or nightmare fuel or just a bad movie altogether, it gets people talking. It earns its cult status by being completely fearless and unhinged and unapologetically weird. And we need more movies like this. Movies that swing big, get a little slimy, and don't care if everyone comes along for the ride. So let me know your thoughts and tell me the exact moment you realized reality had absolutely left the building. And in saying all of that, thank you so much for being here for another week, and thank you for listening and for being weird. I'll talk to you in the next video. Sayonara, suckers.